Chapter 3, Lesson 4 on direct variation. So direct variation is just an equation of the form y equals kx, and y varies directly with x. So what that means is that if x gets multiplied by something, then so does y. And so they vary directly with each other. And one other thing to note is that k cannot equal 0. Otherwise, we don't really have much of an equation, just y equals a line. Okay, so k represents some different things. K represents what we call the constant rate of change. It represents also what we call the constant of variation. These are all just different ways of telling what k is. They all mean the same thing. It's also called the constant of proportionality. And what we oftentimes think of is that k is actually the slope of the line. So when we talk about direct variation, we talked just now about what the equation looks like. The equation is y equals kx, and the k is going to be a number other than 0. Okay, and then your y and x are going to be the variables y and x. Okay, a graph of a direct variation equation is going to pass right through the origin, and it's going to have a slope, right? It doesn't have to go that way. It might also go this way. But those are examples of graphs of direct variation. It always passes through the origin, and so we can easily look at a graph and tell if it's a direct variation or not. Things can change. Our k can either be positive or negative. It doesn't matter if decimal or fraction. We're talking about positive and negative here. So if k is greater than 0, so if it's positive, so an example would be y equals 3x. And if it is positive, then your slope is going to be positive. Okay, so if k is greater than 0, then it is going to be positive, and it is going to have a positive slope. So it will look something like this, passing right through the origin, or something like this. If k is less than 0, which means that it's negative, so an example would be y equals negative 2x, or it could be like y equals negative 1/3 x. Just like over here, if k is greater than 0, it could be y equals 1/4 x. That means that our slope is going to be negative. You notice in a direct variation, you can never have an undefined slope or a 0 slope. And our graph would look something like this, or like this, would be if k is less than 0. So what this means is that I can write, if I know that x and y vary directly, then I can write equations based on if I only know one ordered pair of x and y. So for example, if y varies directly with x, and y is 72, and 8 equals x, and I need to write a direct variation equation. I'm just going to plug these numbers into y equals kx. So 72 equals k times 8, divide both sides by 8, and 9 equals k. But I haven't written my equation. My equation is y equals kx, remember? And so I'm going to just plug in this 9 for k, so y equals 9x. And then if I need to use that equation to figure out, well, what's x if y is 63? Now I'm going to use this equation. So y equals 9x. Well, y is 63 times 9 times x, divide by 9, and 7 equals x.